be up here, yeah. Apparently there was a little miscommunication, so to save time, we are going to go ahead and take questions for the players. Please raise your hand and we'll get you a mic. Up front.
Dante, just in terms of that start, not getting much going offensively early on, how did you endure that? What was said in the huddle there?
I just told my team, just keep fighting. You know, you get down, you don't want to get down on yourselves. At that point, it's just battle time. It's time to lock in, do some of the things you probably wasn't doing before, like 50-50 ones. You losing those battles, just get after it. And my team had my back, and they just grinded with me, and they just, you know what I mean, stuck it out and had that toughness in them, and just battled. So.
Julian, when Bell fouled out of the game about midway through the second half, did you feel like there was a shift in maybe trying to get you the ball more?
Definitely. You know, had a smaller guy on me. You know, Bell was such a force down low, and I feel like we took advantage of that well in the second half.
Up front.
Kevin McNulty, Studio Times. Julian, can you describe how you felt coming into this game, your first NCAA tournament game? Rocky start for Maryland, but obviously you put on a show in the second half. How did your feelings evolve over the course of the game?
You know, came out, you know, everybody has a little butterflies in the stomach, you know, coming out first game, especially against such a physical team that, like, we're not used to from a different conference. And I feel like watching this film after the first half, we adjusted well, and I adjusted well, and I feel like I feel like I was able to elevate my game and elevate my teammates more, doing things off the ball, like passing, screening, rebounding, doing things that such to get us to win.
Okay, we're going to Zoom and take a question from Zoom from Christopher Heidel. Christopher, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, this is Chris Heidel from Herbertson Radio in Baltimore. Congratulations on the win, guys. What does it mean for you guys to move on to Saturday after playing a real tough West Virginia team?
It means a lot to move on because this is what you work for since the summer began. So you just got to keep going, taking one game at a time.
If anyone on Zoom has a question, please hit the raise your hand button and I'll be able to get to you.
For Akeem, you guys have had plenty of slow starts this year where you've crawled back to take the lead and then just ran out of gas towards the end. To actually finish the job in the biggest game of the year, what does it say about this team's character and resilience?
It says a lot about our character. I mean, it shows that we're just going to continue to fight no matter what the outcome can be. We're just going to continue to keep fighting.
Thanks, John.
We're going back to Zoom with Judith.
Hopefully you guys can hear me. I just wanted to ask, I guess more about how were you guys able to come back in the first half, how are you guys able to come back in the first half to make it like a game again, and then you guys pull out the win?
I feel like we came into the game knowing they were a physical team, but like started the game, we kind of underestimated their physicality. They were kind of able to push us off our plays and not get us to running our offense, and we just playing at their pace. And I feel like as the game went on, coach made the adjustments, and we were able to adjust and make the right plays and make the right decisions and get it back on defense and match their physicality overall.
Any more questions for the student athletes? Okay, you guys are dismissed and your locker room is open.
Thanks, Sean.
All right, Coach, if you'll give us an opening statement, then we'll go directly to questions. We're going to go directly to questions. Up front.
Kevin, what did you see from Jameer early on, and how much did his kind of turnovers contribute to you guys falling behind there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one thing to practice against that defense for a couple days. It's another thing to all of a sudden see a Coach Huggins defense live. You know, for anything, it was just getting him to kind of calm down, see it. We have total confidence in him, and I think once he kind of saw it and everybody saw it, it was, you know, it was like a boxing match. You know, he got hit a couple times, and I think it just relaxed him. He was able to see it, and I thought he was pretty good the rest of the game.
Right here in the front.
Ed Lee with Baltimore Sun. Kevin, the fact that you know, Jameer may have had his troubles, but then you had 3 other starters contribute in double digits. What does that say about the diversity of this offense?
Yeah, I think it's been like that most of the year. I mean, if you look at, you know, obviously Jameer's had a tremendous year, but Hakeem, you know, Hakeem's in 56% of our pick and rolls. Our scoring has been pretty balanced all year. I think the way Juju's played over the last month and a half, ever since he recovered from his shoulder surgery, and I think it's a team that understands that if one guy's not playing well, you know, okay, let's step up and give that guy some help. And I think that's, I thought Hakeem and I thought Don Carey, you know, Don Carey's leadership in the huddles, especially early on, was huge.
We're going back to Zoom with Christopher Heidel.
Hi, Coach. This is Chris Heidel from Harper's Radio in Baltimore. Congratulations on the wins this afternoon. What's it like getting your first win with Maryland after the long, good year you had down there at College Park?
Yeah, I'm more excited for the kids than I am for me. This group, I've talked about a lot. This group they've come together. They've asked to do everything that I've asked them to do. They've had a great attitude. They've had an unbelievable work ethic. You know, we've been down all year at certain points in the game. They've never turned on each other. They just have a great attitude. You know, we practiced yesterday morning at 9 a.m. for, man, close to 2 hours, you know, and they were upbeat, they were positive. So I'm more excited about this group. You know, Jameer comes as a transfer in, Don comes in, transfers in. Juju, Hawk, and Dante stay. It's not easy putting together a group that's going to be so together, but, you know, you have to give credit to these young men. They've worked hard. They've had a great attitude, and I'm just excited for them.
When you took over, can you kind of just recount the early conversations that you had with Dante, with Hakeem, and kind of those times of, you know, you putting it down and them having to kind of be re-recruited?
Yeah, I think I think me being, you know, so close down the road, I had played against Dante and Hawk. I had seen Juju play in AAU. I think the fact that they knew me and knew who I was, I think that really helped the cause, because I had recruited Dante pretty hard. I was a huge fan of him in high school. I knew all his high school coaches, his AAU guys. I know, you know, we played against Hawk, so I think the fact that they knew what I was going to do, you know, I couldn't go in there and bullshit them. Oh, excuse my mouth. I couldn't go in there and BS them. I just told them what I was going to do. I wanted this year for them, because it was an extremely difficult year last year for the kids. I wanted this year. I told them, I said, we're going to have a whole lot of fun. We're going to work hard, and we're going to win. And I think just the fact that, I mean, I was only 3 hours away. They knew, you know, they knew who I was. I think that really helped.
Up front, right here.
Just in the second half, Kevin, what's the balance there with Jameer in terms of holding him out until 7 minutes left and, you know, knowing he's the best option to get your offense going?
Yeah, you know, I have a lot of confidence in Jahari Long. There's a reason he's here. When he decided to transfer from Seton Hall, there was no hesitation for me. And I thought Jahari did a phenomenal job of just kind of, you know, he's one of those guys, it's not flashy, doesn't do anything. And again, I think the fact that I can move Hakeem over to the post, into the point guard spot, you know, we've worked a lot on that this year. There's times that we've had to give Jameer times. So we really, you know, we fought back into it. We cut it back down to 4, you know, so I was a lot more confident trying to buy as much time as possible. I didn't want him sitting too long. That was why I put him back in when we did. I usually probably, if he had gotten his 4th foul a little bit later, I probably would have sat him a little bit more, but I don't want to try to put him back in at the 5-minute mark, and he's been sitting for that long. So that was the reason I put him in when I did.
We're going back to Zoom.
You're a big Zoom guy, huh?
Apparently. With Nikki.
Head coach Julian down the stretch had 13 points in the second half. What did you see from him, especially after Bell fouled out? He had 7 points in a row, just kind of leading that a bit of a comeback in the second half in his first NCAA tournament game.
Yeah, I mean, I think anyone that's watched us over the last month and a half, 2 months, understands how good Julian Reese is. We were struggling. They were doing a great job trapping pick and rolls. And I have a lot of confidence in throwing the ball down to Juju. And I told him, I said, big fella, I said, I need a bucket, go get me one. And he looked at me, he said, I'm going to get you, coach. He's had to play Hunter twice, Zach twice, Crowell twice, Derek Walker. I mean, the bigs in our league are brutal. So although, the Big Ten just prepares you for big teams, and although this was a big team, I just thought Juju he'd just been through the battles. I just have so much confidence in him that I was just going to throw him the ball.
Back up front.
Coach, in one of the previous slow starts at home, you mentioned you told the guys a joke to kind of calm down a little bit. When you called the timeout down 11, almost 10 minutes in, what was the message to kind of loosen everyone up and get them going?
I told him, I said, let's just not get down 20. The sideline reporter asked me, she's like, are you worried? I said, we're only down 9 and we have 4 points. That's a celebration on the road. So, we've gotten off the slow starts on the road, but when you look up and you have 6 turnovers and it's only 13-4, there's reason to be excited. I'm a guy that looks at everything in a positive way, so I just told the guys, I said, guys, it's 13-4, we have 6 turnovers, but if that's the best they can do, then I think we're in pretty good shape.
Keidron Johnson, I think, scored 4 points in the latter half of the second half. Did you guys do anything differently defensively against him?
No, that's a bad man right there. He's a tough matchup. I'm a big fan of his. No, we went zone. We try to take away the ISO. Hugs runs that little stagger and clears, and he brings off Stevenson, whichever one. You're such a good player like Stevenson. You're trying to jump out, and he clears the whole side. We just decided to stay in zone and just keep Juju down low to kind of close up those driving lanes.
Right here, and then we'll finish with standing.
Coach, your view of the last play, sort of a scramble. Did you get the defense you wanted, heart in your throat when the ball goes up? What's your thought?
Yeah, if he made both, we still weren't going to foul. With 4.2 seconds, you got to play it out. You just got to hope, And I thought, when he missed it, it's a lot. 4.7 is a lot of time. But we match up, and if you can give up a 1-foot runner at the end of the game, you'll take it.
Last question right here.
I asked you about the guys you inherited. I wonder, of all those guys, who presented the biggest contrast in personality that you kind of had to work through the process of, being that individual's coach?
Probably Juju. Just because I saw in Juju what everybody sees right now. And Ju was a little bit more soft-spoken. He had a good work ethic. We just had to get him to have a great work ethic. And once he saw my personality, how intense I am from the individual instruction side, I think I said this in December. He had a huge game against Coppin State. I told everybody, I said, you haven't seen anything yet. Because as I saw his personality grow, as he became a little bit more outgoing, I knew his game would become, because he is just a fantastic young man, and he has an unbelievable work ethic. I just needed him to believe in it. And so it took me a little bit longer with Ju to kind of get him to understand. And once he understood it, man, he's a monster. Thanks, everybody. Thank you very much.